We're all busier than ever, juggling a dozen things every day and rushing from one thing to the next. It often feels like we're spinning plates just to keep up. But imagine having an Excel calendar that updates itself, highlights your busiest weeks, and even flags upcoming deadlines. Sounds too good to be true? Well, today I'm going to show you how to quickly build this dynamic calendar that you can use again and again. I've set up conditional formatting to automatically highlight important dates, and on the date sheet here I've got two tables for my holidays and birthdays, but you can add more dates for appointments and deadlines, etc. And as you saw, to start a new year, simply click the spin button to select the year that you want your calendar for, and you can see it automatically recalculates. Alright, let's go to a new sheet and we'll start from scratch and build the calendar. So with columns A through AF selected, right click, and we're going to adjust the column width to 2.7. Click OK. And then row 3 is going to contain my heading, so I'm just going to make that a bit wider. And in this cell here, I'm going to enter my year, which will be starting with 2024. And so that we can see it, I'll just select these cells, Control 1 to open the formatting. On the Alignment tab, I'll change the format to Center Across Selection. And while I'm here, let's alter the font. We'll change the color to this teal. We'll make it 36 point, and I'll change the font to Segoe UE Light. And click OK. And so that you can easily change the year, on the Developer tab, I'm going to insert a spin button. Now, if you don't see the Developer tab, right-click on the ribbon, customize the ribbon, and make sure Developers checked here in the list, and then it will be available. On the Insert drop-down, we have a spin button, Form Control. Click on it, your mouse changes to a crosshair, and you can left-click and drag to draw it in. And with it selected, I'm going to right-click and format the control. Here I want the current value to be 2024, and the cell link is going to be the cell containing my year. I'll click OK, and now if I click on the spin button, you can see the year increments accordingly. Alright, let's give my calendar a title. I'll just call it My Calendar, and let's apply some formatting. We'll make this teal and 36 point, and also Segoe UE Light. And one last embellishment for the heading is to add an underline. So with the cell selected, Control 1 to open the format cells. On the Border tab, I'm going to make it this brown color, and we'll make it a thick bottom border. Alright, that's the heading done. We're ready to insert the labels for my months. I'm just going to type them in. I'm going to have 4 months going across 3 rows, but you can have any configuration you like. Alright, with my months entered, let's apply some formatting. We'll make this Aptos display and 14 point. With that row selected, I'm going to double click the Format Painter, and then I can apply the formatting to the other rows quickly in one go. Press Escape to clear the Format Painter, and now I just need to add labels for the days of the week. My calendar is going to start on a Sunday, but you can start on a Monday if you prefer, and you'll find an alternate formula in the file you can download from the video description. And I'll also show you the formula at the end of the video. Let's select those labels, and we'll also format them centered, and I'll make them slightly bigger. Alright, simply copy and paste them to your other months, and then I'll just copy that row down. Okay, let me zoom in slightly on the spreadsheet and we'll write the formula. It's going to use the sequence function to return all the dates for 1 month at a time. And I want a grid of 6 rows high by 7 columns wide. Now most months will only span 5 rows, but occasionally we'll have months that span 6, so we need to allow for that. The start of the sequence will be a date, and to make it dynamic, I'm going to use the date value function that's going to take the month and the year, F4 to absolute the year, close date value, that's going to return the first of the month. Now I need to return the last Sunday before or on the first day of the month. So I'm going to minus the weekday, and the date serial number, well, I'm going to reuse this formula here and paste it in, close weekday, and then +1 to adjust the result to ensure it starts from the correct Sunday. Close sequence, When I press enter, it's going to spill all the dates. Now we can't see them. Let's just make this column wider so we can see in here we have proper dates. Now I don't want to see the whole date, so let's Control Z to undo that. All I want to see is the day. So I'm going to Control 1, and on the number tab I want custom, and in here I just want D. And you can see for the first cell it's going to return 31. I'll click OK, and there are my dates. Let's center them. And we can see the dates either side of the current month, and we'll hide these later. For now, I'm just going to copy these to the other months in my calendar. Super quick. And then that'll be the bones of my calendar done. Next, let's make it easier to use with some formatting. So on the dates sheet, remember I've got my tables containing my important dates, and of course you can add more tables for different dates that you want to highlight as required. So going back to my calendar, I'm going to select all the dates, and then on the Home tab we want Conditional Formatting, New Rule, and in here I want Use a Formula to determine which cells to format. And the formula is going to be count if. What are we counting? We'll start with the observed holidays. So I want to count the holidays where, we'll go back to our calendar, they match this date. But in order for it to check every date in the calendar, I'm going to F4 3 times to remove the absolute referencing so that it checks all the dates. Close parentheses on count if, and then let's go and set the formatting. So here I'm going to go with this light shade of brown for the fill, and then the font will be a darker shade of that same color. Click OK and OK. And there's my holidays formatted. Let's rinse and repeat. New rule from formula for the birthdays. So it's count if. This time we're looking at the list of birthdays where they match this date here. F4 3 times to remove the absolute referencing. Go in and format. This one is going to be blue and a lighter shade of blue fill. Click OK and OK. That's that done. And the last one we'll highlight is today's date. So this is a slightly different formula. I'm going to use the today function to return today's date, and we'll check if it matches the date here. F4 3 times so it checks every day in the calendar. Let's go in the formatting. We'll make this one a lighter shade of orange and the font a darker shade. OK, OK, and there's today's date. All right, now I've set up a legend here. Let's just copy this one across. That will just make it easier for our readers to know what the formatting relates to. Next, let's hide the dates either side of the current month. Now this needs to be a separate format for each month, so it's a bit of work to set up, but once you've done it, you don't need to do it again. With my month selected, conditional formatting, new rule, again a formula, and I need to check if the month in each cell of the calendar doesn't match the month in the header. So we're going to use month to check the month in each cell, so I need to make that a relative reference, is not equal to the month in the header. So we'll select the month in the header. Now this is text, so to convert it to a date, I'm going to append a 1 to it, close parentheses on that, go in and format, and here I want the font to be white and the fill color to be white, and that's essentially just going to hide the date. The date's still in the cell, we just can't see it because it's formatted white. Click OK again, and now we only see the dates for January. Now I'll pause while I rinse and repeat for the rest of the months in my calendar. Okay, and let's just go to the View tab and we'll hide the grid lines. Alright, that looks good. Let's test the spin button, and we can see the calendar is updating nicely. Now, as a finishing touch, if we look at my completed example, you can see I've got some icons that indicate when the seasons start, etc. So to insert those, go to the Insert tab, Icons. Now you need to be connected to the internet for icons. Just type in the search term of the icon to narrow down the list. For example, I want a calendar, and I'll go with this one here. I also want some icons that reflect the seasons. I've got a snowflake, sun, and a plant growing for spring. Let's look for a different type of leaf. This one is what I had in mind. And let's also get an icon for a gift so that we can highlight the months that we have birthdays in. So click Insert and this inserts them as objects. You can see they sit above the grid, and with them selected on the Graphics Format tab, I can resize them. So let's make them 0.5. Actually, we'll make them a little bit bigger. And then this one here is for my heading, so I want that one bigger. Again, you can just use the pull handles to resize them. And let's give it a color in keeping with my heading. All right, the rest of them I'm just going to move into place on the months that they relate to. So this is for December. Of course, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then your seasons are going to be the opposite. Let's make this one gold for the sun. This is for spring. So we'll make that one teal. This is for fall or autumn. We'll make that one orange. And then for the months that I have birthdays, March is the first one. Let's make the gift gold. And then I'm just going to hold down Control and Shift while I left click and drag to copy it down for July and November. Okay, there's my icons. Have fun with those. Now, if I need to edit my dates, I can simply go to the date sheet and I can add a new birthday or edit the observed holidays, and these dates will automatically be formatted in my calendar, making it dynamic. Now, as promised, if you prefer your calendar to start on a Monday, as you can see here, this one does, the change is super simple. We have the same formula. The only difference is we're going to use the return type argument for weekday. I've got 2 in there, but let me just show you the list. The default is 1. Numbers 1 through 7 reflect Sunday to Saturday. If you want your calendar to start on a Monday, then you want 2 here. And then we have Monday as the first date in my calendar. This calendar relies heavily on conditional formatting to highlight important dates. However, because the logic behind these formats is hidden, understanding how to create the formulas can be challenging. But once you get the hang of it, the possibilities are almost limitless. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes to show you how Excel uses conditional formatting formulas so you can fully tap into its potential. By the end, you'll be ready to apply these techniques to any Excel project. I'll see you there.